Yes, Marcus is in a VW. What am I thinking? I'm thinking that I should have an open mind as to what cars I drive. And I'm thinking that this is gonna be an extremely well-sorted vehicle, just based on the specs alone. 2,000 pounds, a modern engine, couple good upgrades, modern turbo technology. Alright you guys, what is going on? Today we are in a Mk1 Jetta. So basically what John has done here is started out with a fairly old chassis at this point. I mean, this is approaching classic status. And what you have essentially is a pro touring Mk1 Jetta, which is absolutely hilarious. Not in a bad way either.
I'm John. This is my '83 Volkswagen Jetta GLI with a 20 valve turbo, 6-speed swap. I've bought the car about 8 years ago. The original shell, I got it in Victoria. So the original goal was to have 300 horsepower, daily Mk1 Jetta.
The torque steer is very real. If you're not ready for the torque steer, fighting the steering there, no power steering. Whoa! Turbo spools up nice and quickly, and I mean, the torque comes on really powerful in between 3,000, 4,000 RPM. I mean, even before that, you can get full spool before 3 grand. Just such a raw experience. But you know what's really funny is you're looking at the gauges here, and you're looking at a modern gauge cluster, yet the steering feel is just something else. No power steering, like I said. You feel every bump in the road.
So it'd be an early 1.8T swap out of, the motor would be out of a 2000 with the turbo off the 2004 GLI. So KO3S, just slightly upgraded turbo. It's nothing too serious. The thing with the car is the weight. It's very light. It's 1,950 pounds with my skinny self in it and a full tank of gas. So I live out here in Mission, so I head up Miracle Valley probably almost every day. I take my 2 big dogs out to the water. So believe it or not, they're used to the handling characteristics of this car, and they know how to lean into lefts and rights, so pretty good. I take the car to the track most Fridays during the summer. Hopefully it'll be a good year this year at Mission. So yeah, there's more power throughout the summer. Hopefully get it into the 12s. Modest, I would say. I've never dynoed it. I would say with the intake and the exhaust, and it has stage 1 chip. I would say just over 200 horsepower, maybe 240 torque.
Boost. The great thing is, you really don't have to wind this car out for it to feel extremely fast. So when I think of an enthusiast car and I think of a good driver's car, I'm not gonna lie, Volkswagens do not cross my mind, with one exception. The Mark 6 Golf R I drove was actually a lot of fun. Really good all-wheel drive system. This car is another exception. I mean, the feelings I'm getting right now out of this car are just absolutely phenomenal. The turn-in is great. I mean, the shifter is really nice and short, really notchy. The clutch is very stiff, no sponginess there. It's, to be honest, the exact opposite of what I think of when I think of VW, and that is a compliment. That's great. It's very instant. When you're in the power band, it's on like that, but you better be ready because that torque steer is gonna toss you around.
So originally the car would be a 6-speed Mark IV, would have 18-inch wheels. So with having smaller 15s, it's geared very short. So you could start it in second, sixth feels like fifth essentially, and it's just a constant power band. I mean, you're not waiting for turbo lag, nothing like that. And it's just all around, I would say, a go-kart experience. So nothing but fun. So as far as drivetrain, coilovers, they're just kind of shitty coilovers, yaws, but they're good for the weight of the car and they're cheap, so if they break I can replace them pretty easy. Brakes off a 91 Corrado G60, so 11.5-inch Corrado rotors, the Audi dual piston caliper, 2.5-inch straight exhaust, Recaros out of a Mark II GTX Jetta, lots of bolster, you don't move around a lot. Quaife diff, so limited slip diff, and as well as a 3-to-1 steering rack. So with no power steering, you move the steering wheel or you're turning. So.
Hard on the brakes. They feel great. The pedal placement is great too. Heel towing cars, you know, sometimes presents a little bit of a challenge, but in this car, I mean, it's great right off the get-go. It's really fun. Suspension's a little stiff, a little bouncy, but oh man. I mean, the car does soak up bumps fairly well, but on a road like this, it's not too forgiving. Oh man, this car is fun. It's quick enough, like, it feels very quick. That might have a little bit to do with the sights and the sounds of this car, the steering feel. I mean, you've got to really hold on. The car is really loud. You're getting all these different sensory inputs around. Things are shaking, there's a little bit of rattling going on here and there. But it just adds to the experience and it makes you feel like you're going incredibly fast.
Yeah, I gave this car a second lease on life, essentially, because it was just a rolling shell with no motor and anything, and now it's a daily drag car. So the gauge cluster is out of a 2004 GLI. It's 260 speedo. It's a little bit off being 15-inch wheel, but I've had a GPS at 235. Let's just say that was on a racetrack. You have to drive it to experience it yourself.
John, you have done well. That is great. It inspires a lot of confidence, but you do have to be careful. If you hit a bump in the middle of the road, mid-corner, you're gonna have to react. But seats are comfortable, plenty of bolstering. Generally, I'm not really a front-wheel drive kind of guy, but this car has everything I want. It's phenomenal. It's really a good driving car. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go like us on Facebook and Instagram. Remember, new videos every Tuesday and Thursday. See you next time.